All right. Welcome, everybody, to SnapCast Episode 6. I can't believe we're already on to Episode 6 already. I didn't think we'd get this far, but here we are. And today we're going to be covering the well-known map, the Teragrithious Chamber by JMX5000. Joining us on the Snapcast, we got Shadesmaster, author of the Ethereal Shards series. How you doing, Shadesmaster?
Pretty good. I love mixing my burgers in syrup.
Oh. That's, rather interesting, isn't it?
Very.
Also, we got the author of Garrock's Pantheon, Count Lazuli. Or is it Carrie Lazuli now? You tell me.
It depends. We're on YouTube, so it's Count Lazuli right now.
Okay. Count Lazuli it is. Also, we got the author of Chain Gun Tom. Haven't seen you in a while on one of these Snapcasts, but I'm glad you could be here. I'm talking about Mr. Patrick. How you doing, buddy?
Hello. Glad to be here. Aliens kidnapped me, but it's okay. I'm back.
Okay. Well, you don't have a chest burster about to come out, do you? Because, might have to put you in stasis for a while. Okay. And lastly, we have the author of the map we're about to see here, the featured map. I'm talking about the author of Teragrithious Chamber, JMX5000. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing? Oh man, this is gonna be a doozy.
Yeah, and here we are looking at your nice purple armor.
Yes, the Dark Sentinel.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. 28 days. I put way too much time in this game, honestly.
There's never too much time in this game.
We almost had a third person join
You
us.
know what's funny about this map? This map has more subscribers than my YouTube channel. Yep.
Well,
it's true.
I think the Dank cast is going to turn all that around.
Hopefully. Yeah, so you saw that.
I saw the first 10 minutes, which was just you guys fiddling around with your audio settings, and I was like, I better check back for the next episode.
We're still getting that all set up, but yeah, because it's the start of it. So yeah.
So I got to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this map.
Heresy. I mean,
so
I don't have opinions.
Just imagine I spend the next hour complaining about my hands hurting, and that's pretty much my feelings on it. But I'll point out the positive things I like about it along the way.
This map made me cry.
I'm just glad Jooztin was able to help me play it. Otherwise,
Is it wrong for me to say this map inspired me?
No, that's the truth.
No, that's a really good thing.
And I'll get to that later, but I'll let you finish your sentence, Crash.
Oh yeah, I'm just glad you were able to help me play this
Yes.
for this recording here. Otherwise, I probably would have just stolen someone else's, like Rock Hard Gamers or somebody.
No,
Oh man.
I had a lot of fun doing it too, because personally, I haven't touched this map in maybe about 2 years, honestly.
Whoa.
Yeah, the last time I touched it was like a year and a half ago, I think, or 2. It's been so long, so even I was like, oh my god.
Wasn't that when you and me played it?
Maybe I can't really, because it's so long. My god. But no.
It's such a long time.
Yeah. Would you consider updating the map just to include a new secret area? The Teragrithious Chamber pot?
It's funny because
The bowl of soup.
the bowl of soup.
Yeah. The Teragrithious Chamber of Secrets.
Ooh, I like that.
There you go.
On a real note, I have thought about it, but the reason why I actually really haven't is because it's such a popular map, and if you go on to the leaderboards, there's hundreds upon hundreds of names in there, and I was like, every time you update a map, it deletes all those.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I don't want to lose those.
I wish they would have kept an option.
Also,
to
Jooztin
not
just
delete.
likes to hear us be tormented.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, for people who don't know, everyone here, I say this as a joke, but everyone hates this map. and it's kind of became a little bit of a personality, and I love it. I love that everyone gets so mad at it, and I don't know. There's some charm to it. It makes me happy. I don't know.
It makes even grown men cry.
Yeah.
Even the devil may cry.
Yeah. Even the devil may cry.
Yeah. The devil cried
Only
because
two
his
things
hand
make the
started to
devil
hurt
cry.
after 2
Doomslayer
hours.
and Teragrithious. It's funny because Teragrithious isn't a bad map. It's just, I guess, a long map, like more of a gauntlet of a map. I guess that's why people are like, oh man.
You really got a lot of preamble in this room.
Gauntlet.
A lot of info.
It's very oh yeah. It's because it was kind of inspired by well, because I'll go into like the whole development of how the map kind of became to be. Because you'll notice at the top there it says Teragrithious 2.0.
Uh-huh.
It's because and you can actually still play it. There is a 1.0 version on my author list, and that version is very different. Well, it's the same concept. Like you start from one end and you get to the far end and kill like all the same bosses, right? But like the map is way easier. It's less detailed. You only can hold
it's
2
the way
weapons.
cut juniors.
Yeah. And like this map went through many updates, and in fact, what happened was that like I said, I'm trying to figure out where to start with it, because like all right, I'll start from the beginning. This map, like the whole concept of the idea of the map, actually came out of the first like the second map that I actually started working on, which was supposed to be a horror map. Because back in 2016, you know, my buddies knew me as like, oh, I'm a huge horror fan, and I am. Mm-hmm. And that ended up kind of turning into Fatal Silence and whatnot. But like this horror map that I made this last boss fight room like super crazy, and everything was on fire, and you know, like there's a Baron of Hell boss at the end, and I love that room so much that I decided to take that room and turn it into its own idea. And that's how the first version of Teragrithious Chamber was born, essentially. Except it was a little bit more expanded upon, there were more bosses, it was a little longer, and there was a general idea around it. About, you know, a few months pass, you know, and whatnot, the map gets featured, but some of the Bethesda employees play it and whatnot. They enjoyed it, and that was I think that was when like creating maps kind of became a thing. And then a little after that, that's when I created this one, which I deleted all the stuff from the original map, and I literally started brand spanking new. And I added new mechanics, I did new things, and that's kind of how this map ended up being.
So you said that you were telling me earlier that the Bethesda employees actually featured a video of them playing your map and talking about it?
Yes. In fact, you can still find that on YouTube.
No kidding.
Oh, cool.
Maybe I'll put the link to that in the description of this video if you show me where it's at.
Cool.
That's awesome, man.
It was unbelievable. Like it, and you know, that's not the first time that like, you know, Bethesda has put like one of my featured maps and stuff they do, like you know, Access to the Dam ended up in one of their trailers, and that's kind of like when Bethesda played it, that's when I kind of was like, you know what, I'm really into this map making business, like I really love it. And that's kind of how my love into making maps kind of became, was that like, oh my god, like my work is being seen, and that's unbelievable. And this map is very important to me, even though it has angered many people, but it's very important to
Especially
me.
me.
And I love it. Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Until the end.
But yeah, like yes. But yeah, you know, this map.
So this is the first map that you made that was really popular, right?
Yeah.
So what was it like the first time you made a map where you got more than 12 plays?
See, my first map was, and I think some of you do know it, was that intro though.
Argosax.
The first map. Also, Argosax is, and I'll even give you some fun facts.
Oh
Argosax, the name Argosax actually comes from the final boss fight of Devil May Cry 2.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
Argosax the Chaos is what his name was in DMC2, and I like DMC2. But no, I'm trying to think. Oh yeah, so I'm pretty sure some of you have. I think the majority of you have played the very fun map. That was my first map, and you know, it was just kind of like me
The
digging
last of its
around.
kind.
Well, there might be a sequel coming.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But no, it was crazy, to be honest, because like
you check
there
it
was a
one
lot of
day and then
things-
there's just like 200 plays. Like, what the hell?
Yes, that's what happened too. Was that like it started out and it got a couple plays here and there, and it did get a couple likes and all that kind of stuff, and then I woke up one day and bam, it has 800 plays.
Holy smokes.
1,000. Oh no, I take that back. It was like 800 likes, a couple hundred dislikes, and like 1,000 plays. And I was like, what? What? Holy shit! And that was in the span of a day. And like there were a bunch of YouTubers that were featuring it. There's this guy named Ed Against the Undead who featured it twice and whatnot. Oh, I love it when I figured out how to do that. Being able to like change the environment and whatnot, that was so cool. But like, no, it was crazy. It was unbelievable that I was getting all this traction, and then I made other maps and all that. But I just want to focus on this because this map, Z-Man Zilla put it probably the best way I could explain it, is the magnum opus of my library, and I believe in that heavily. It is just the most. It's kind of shows how I started, and it's got a really interesting development cycle. It's awesome. But yeah,
Magnum opus. Wait, what's that? I don't know what what does that mean again? Magnum opus. The first thing or the best?
Essentially, it's like I can't remember the exact word for it, but it's like it essentially means like it is the thing that kind of started your success, I guess.
Well, no, actually,
In a way, I think
that's not a magnum opus, actually.
Really?
Yeah. Magnum opus is basically the peak of your work. It's your ultimate piece.
Oh, okay. That's what it means. Okay,
For
gotcha.
example, Stephen King, his magnum opus is the Dark Tower series.
The Dark Tower, true.
What, it's not It with
My
Pennywise?
magnum opus.
I mean, it's a self-proclaimed magnum opus.
But yeah, as you can see, like this map, it's essentially the idea, for people who are, who've been watching Snapcast, notice that a lot of the maps that we do here on this show is, like a lot more newer stuff, and a lot of it's custom geo. This map came out before all of that was really getting into popularity at the time. This is a
But this
oldie.
was back in the days before custom geo, where the only way you could, I think that because custom geo wasn't there was more of a focus on just gameplay, and
Yes.
because you had to find other ways to be creative
sure.
with your snap maps. You couldn't just. A lot of people nowadays solely focus on their custom geo, and then gameplay is sort of an afterthought sometimes. Not with all maps, but with some maps.
Not with all maps.
People get a little too focused on that visual, and they forget about the gameplay.
And that's kind of something that, like, I noticed as well, like, playing, because, like, one thing when it came to, like, making, like, later maps that I created, I've noticed that a lot of custom geo maps that I've played, a lot of them have, like, really big open rooms, but, like, no health or no armor.
Yeah.
And honestly, that really gets to me. It's
They
like...
should build custom geo like traditional level editors. Like actually have your own rooms and quarters within the big rooms. So it's like separate rooms. But you gotta be careful with performance. Yeah.
And I remember, like, when it came to balancing this map, right? Like, because the bosses, I mean, to kind of give everybody an idea of just, like, the simplest way I can put this map is 5 big rooms, 5 tanky-ass bosses, and that's essentially it. Like, that's, like, the essential idea.
Yeah, I love this map, but my one critique is that the bosses, forgive my language, are a little bullshit.
Oh. And hey,
Like,
that's fair.
It takes you 30 minutes to kill them. They have a bunch of health points. They're super tanky, but they're really fun and unique. So I'll give you that. That's really
Thank you.
But
This is the Dragon Ball Z of maps because of how long it takes to do things. It's the Dragon Ball Z of boss fights.
But I don't know if this is true, but I'd say this is one of the first maps, like boss rush maps, that was super unique and interesting and stuff, and it's really cool looking back on it, and you know it's a great map, honestly. You know, props to you, man.
Thank you.
This map is
Yeah.
awesome. It's fun to replay. It's fun to come back to, even though it's a little introducing.
Yeah, and even I will say, like, you know, because I've definitely done a lot better now. Like, I've learned, you know, better. I don't really, you know, like, I know how to do bosses a lot better now. But like, I look back at this and I just go, like, personally, I'm like, God, there's so many decisions that I'm just like, I really wish I could go back and change these.
Oh yeah,
because I've definitely changed a lot of ideas.
Well, like everybody, I think everybody who's made multiple snap maps over the years, now I can say over the years, right? Because it's been out so long.
Yeah.
But you know, you look back at your earlier works, and there's just obvious things that you would do differently now.
Oh God, yeah.
Oh yeah, of course.
I know. I always have to
Also-
redo my works because of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, Remivorous. I can't remember if it's Vermivorous or Rumivorous. I can't remember, but it's one of those two.
Yeah.
But essentially, I thought it was Remivorous. But the name Remivorous comes from one of the invincible bosses from Borderlands 2.
Oh,
man.
Yes.
Also,
I
Secret
think,
War
I think
fact,
it's
Remivorous
Vermivorous or Rumivorous. I can't remember which one it is, but I thought it was Remivorous. I've heard some people like pronounce it Ramivirus, which I liked.
I feel like we might as well just call this guy like Ramming Virus or something.
Ramen virus.
Oh man.
Ramen Virus. Yes.
Ramen virus.
Also, this is, you know, talking about going back on maps and all that. I think the thing that makes me happy is Lazuli here created, and I don't know if we'll ever go to that map in the future, but like he created a map that
Needs
was
an
really,
update.
he created a map that was really inspired by this map, and if I gotta be honest, that
my
map
second rage inducer.
that map to me is the spiritual successor to this.
Are we talking
it's
about
a way
Gyrox?
better version of what this could be, and I really respect him for that.
Gyrox?
And I think it's great. Gyrox Pantheon. Yep.
Yes, yeah.
Like,
I thought the same thing
I-
actually when I played it. I'm like, this is
Yep.
a lot like Teragrithious Chamber, and then he even
And
said
it really
so.
is.
You're turning my
I
blue
can
face
sum
pink.
Garrock. I can sum Garrock in one sentence. I've never had a snap map make me break my controller before.
Like a lot of people go like,
Oh, man.
Teragrithious is really hard, and I go, I played Garrock.
Right.
Like,
Well, now when they do forward person, they can just not like do things like first made it hard. They can do things like not add an exit. So Snapmap Wonder can control a person, you know. But this isn't one of those maps.
oh yeah. And man, because I remember back in the day too, because like this map went through a lot of updates, like over the years and whatnot. Like I think I stopped updating it in 2017. I think that's when I stopped updating it, like late 2017. I think. I can't really remember. But like, I was really happy when they added the ability to like use individual ammo types instead of just the ammo box that gives you ammo for everything.
Oh, right, yeah. The universal ammo.
That was really nice because it's just like, you know, you kind of have to like look for. But
Oh gosh, this map is that old?
Yeah, this is like
it's
a
the
2016 map, wasn't it?
Oh,
Yep.
It's funny because I think in like even the gameplay, the fundamentals of the Teragrithious Chamber, you can kind of tell what era of Snapmap that it's from.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's definitely cemented in that era.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
That was back in the golden age when you could spend a few days making a map and still have something interesting at the end of it. Now it's like every map has to be a giant project. Or at least that's how it feels to me sometimes.
And I mean, we've had a bit of a project of our own relating to this map.
Oh yes, a lot of and.
I guess we might as well talk about that.
It's a little my fault.
So Jooztin had a great idea to make a sequel.
It's the Duper Doo Chamber coming out in 2020.
The Duper Duper Chamber.
Well, and the reason I bring it up is, just because of the fact that, Teragrithious Chamber is just such a popular map that its influence still hasn't really faded.
Mm-hmm.
Although this project related to this map is kind of taking on other routes as well, so it's becoming more of like a hybridized thing.
And I
thought it would be funny if like each of us like actually just took that map and finished it, but like take what we had built and then just build our own version, so you end up with like 3 different versions at the end that are like all different.
Map, yeah.
That'd be cool. That would really be worth doing that though.
There's like
funny.
There's like a Lazuli's version of Mephistus and a JRcrash version and like a Jooztin version. That'd be funny.
Mephistus is because I've been super busy, so I haven't really been able to kind of like work because
we've all been pretty busy as of late.
Because I want to finish that series because that series Devil May Doomed is to me like the best thing I've worked on, and I want that. I want Mephistus to be like the thing that kind of finishes that series off because I thought it'd be a better route to take. But yeah, no, like that. I mean, that was going to be a Teragrithious thing, an homage.
Yeah. A lot of sacrifices had to be made in favor of our ambitions here.
Oh yeah.
So
this room.
Oh boy!
Okay,
my favorite.
I'm just gonna say this. People hate this boss, but Jooztin, this is actually my favorite.
Is it really?
It is.
That surprises me.
I don't think I've had anyone tell me this is their favorite one.
You know why? Because I love the element of turning on the turning on or off. Are you turning them on or off?
You're turning them on, I believe, and
okay,
it shuts down the shields.
Okay, so you're turning them on, and I love just that element of everyone just unload
on the and there's a quad damage too, so it's like but the thing is that like Balthazar, he teleports, so you can't like you can hit him a couple times with the quad damage, but he teleports away from you, so you're just like, oh fuck, now I gotta get over him and shoot him one last time before the timer runs out.
Not only that, but the element of the jumping mechanics in this map are just, they're so dynamic that I don't even think that's something that we sacrificed in the current project.
Yeah, I love this right here is something that we kind of ran into a lot during the playthrough of this map. I don't know how many of you know this because I was explaining this to Crash. So when you use wave events, right, or like survival events, this is really bizarre. But basically, whenever you use an event, and you'll notice that the enemies are only spawning up here, right? And they're usually only spawning lost souls. The reason why this happens is because the game has this like weird prediction, like AI spawning prediction area where wherever the player is spawned at, like wherever he's standing and the next wave starts, the enemies will only spawn in that location. And it's super bizarre because it's just like, oh wait, are we still here?
Oh yeah, I'm just listening.
Yeah. Okay, well, sorry. It just super dead silence. I was like, oh shit, and I heard like my Discord go off. No, okay.
Silently judging you, Jooztin.
Yeah. Oh no!
The map.
Oh no! Okay. But no, like
you have the floor.
What was it? Yeah. So essentially, what happens is that like when you're using, and I don't really advise any of you use wave events or anything like that, just because you will run into this issue where your player that you want, playing the map will kind of sit in an area and, not realize that, and it's happening right here as well. The enemies will only spawn in one particular location, and they won't stop spawning there until like either the wave event is done or the next, that kind of thing. And it sucks.
I had the same problem with Brothers
sucks.
Keeper. if any of you have played that map, is because I use wave events on that one, and a lot. It's basically like the whole map is like you're defending like a bunker, basically, and it keeps spawning like demons in one particular spot. So what usually happens is like the players are on the bunker with their sniper rifles, just trained on that spawn point, and then they're just taking out the demons as they spawn in. And sometimes it gets a little bit problematic having that happen. So yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, because it doesn't break the map. It just makes it like, was that intentional, or this feels really not correct in a way.
Now, I actually have my own way of making like a wave type of event without actually doing it. This is something I did in one of my own maps, and this is.
I think I know what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, I think you are, and I've actually implemented this into one of the roughs of Bothistas. And basically the way it works is you have a bunch of teleporters around the arena, and in some other area you have your big bag of demon spawners.
Yep.
Every time a demon spawns, they go through a randomizer, and they'll go to any one of those teleporters. And on teleport, you have an explosion or something. So these demons could appear from anywhere out of these explosions. And that's how I do kind of my waves.
And that's cool. That's really, really cool how you do that.
Yeah, that's really interesting. On a side note, this is my favorite boss in the entire thing. Best boss to do solo, everybody.
You do?
People like this boss, Jooztin.
What? Oh my god.
Psycho Knight. Yeah, that's right, Psycho Knight. I'm
That
calling
was
you out.
My
buddy,
my buddy Corey fucking hates this guy.
Exactly.
He
I'm
tells
with
me
him on
all
that.
the time. He's like, I hate this boss.
It's nothing against you, Jooztin, but oh boy, this boss is just fun. Really
yeah, it's
fun.
real fun.
I think it's interesting that you have that mechanic where you
especially-
press the switches and then that enables him to be damaged. The only problem I have with it is I keep forgetting that that's how this level's working. So I find myself just shooting at him, and then 5 minutes later I'm like, hey, he's not taking any damage.
Well, because so I'll give you a little bit of a because Balthazar's going to last for a while, so I can explain this in all detail.
Oh yeah, grab a beer.
Two things. Oh yeah.
It'll be a while. Go base to Turkey, I guess.
Oh yes. No, I'm trying to think because there's an interesting tidbit of a factory here, So when I made the first version of Teragrithious Chamber, I kind of left it alone for a little while because I just wasn't happy with it, and I just didn't feel like touching it, And that's when I made one of my other maps called Doom Exodus of the Damned. I don't know if any of you played that.
Yeah,
Yep.
I have.
I love that map. That to me is one of my favorites I've ever created because God. So if you ever played Exodus of the Damned, that map actually came after the first version of Teragrithious Chamber, and it is the reason why this particular version of Balthazar has this mechanic. Because in that map, that's when I actually first made the Rupture Shield mechanic, was in Exodus of the Damned. Except it's essentially the same thing, except this one just has a hell theme, and the one in Exodus of the Damned, it's a UAC theme and all that kind of stuff. And instead of like the old beta announcer saying Rupture Shield down, or it's Vega. So what I did was when I was remaking this version of Teragrithious Chamber, I borrowed that mechanic. I had to recreate it from the ground up. Like I didn't go into Exodus of the Damned and just copy and paste because I didn't know any better at the time. So I literally just remade it from ground up, and I kind of fixed it, and I kind of made it a little better here. And that's how this mechanic came to be. And unfortunately, this is the only boss. Well, no, I take that back. Teragrithious has mechanics as well, but they're a lot more straight-lined and straightforward. But this is one of the only. This is the only boss out of the main four that actually has a mechanic. All the other ones you just shoot until you die, essentially.
And I'm actually going to get to that. I think it's after this boss that I'm going to kind of get kind of my no-no zone. That sounds a little weird. Yeah, you know what? That sounds a little weird.
No zone.
Yeah.
Is there something you need to tell us, Lazuli?
Oh God!
This time, the sexual harassment.
Where did he touch you? Show me on this doll.
But no, so I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret that it didn't come into this map.
Secrets.
It did not come into this map, thankfully, but it almost did. So in the original version of Teragrithious Chamber, I didn't know, because like you can give a boss 1,000 health, right? And it's like, oh, that's a lot of health. But like really, I mean, it is a lot of health, but it's not too much where it's like, oh, this is like feels like a boss. It feels like a mini boss essentially. That's kind of how much it is. So in the original version of the Teragrithious Chamber, I'm gonna let you in on a little dirty secret here. Throughout the entirety of the boss fight, you're actually not dealing any damage to the boss whatsoever until a timer ends. But see, you don't know that. You don't know that because you see how he has the health bar? Because the boss has the health bar, I had to find a different way around that. So because I wasn't happy with how long the bosses were lasting in the original version, so I made a little bit of a no-no as we were talking, where through the entire time, like every once in a while the boss would be healed back to full health, or if you killed one of the enemies in the arena, it would heal the boss back to full health.
So you were like, oh, this boss fight is much too quick.
You would not know.
This only took half an hour to kill this boss. We gotta fix that.
Oh, man.
And here's the thing, that almost made the cut for this version, almost, but
Oh,
it
hell
almost
no.
did. It almost did. But I thankfully said, no, I can't do that. But I found another way to kind of make it to give the boss a lot of health.
1% damage.
It's the damage modifiers for the player. So you'll notice that when the Rupture Shield is off, you're dealing like almost no damage. But it's because your damage is set to 1%. Now, it's funny because when the enemies spawn and the Rupture Shield is off, you'll notice that the enemies still react to like normal amounts of damage to you, right? It's because their health is set to 1% as well. So if you were to turn the Rupture Shield on, it would increase your damage output, and you could kill all the enemies in like one shot of a plasma shot. Because their health is technically 1%. And if I remember correctly, I believe it's the players get, like, you start with 1% in this fight, but once you turn the shield on, you get 25%, I believe it is. And that's to kind of, because the boss only has 1,000 health. So it's the same amount of health, but because of the damage modifier, you can actually mimic the idea that the boss has more health when he really doesn't. And that's why I really love, like, doing this fucking game design stuff, is because you can make a player think that something is doing what, but you can also like hide some stuff. Like I was talking about how like the bosses in the original version were being healed constantly. You wouldn't know that. And it's the same thing with this, is that you don't know that your damage is actually being increased and decreased because you're just thinking that he's got a shield, when in reality, like, no, it's just your damage being up and down and whatnot, and that's it.
You see, I just gained more appreciation for this boss because these are such interesting like ways to do this stuff and to trick the player and stuff. So this is just giving me more, I'm starting to like this boss now.
So I've got two questions. First question is, where'd you get the name Balthazar? Does that have anything to do with that game that came out for Xbox, Azuric?
No, so Balthazar actually came. Oh, and thank you for reminding me, because I almost forgot. So the name Balthazar actually, like Lazuli said, it actually comes from a name called Balthazar. And normally, I just like, I was going to name him Balthazar, but I just like the name Balthazar for some reason. I don't know why, it just kind of slipped off the tongue better. But the name comes from not only like religious stuff, but because one of my favorite games on the PS2 is a game based off of a movie. And it's called Constantine. and I don't know if any of you've seen it, but it's an iteration of the like comic book Constantine, but like Keanu Reeves plays Constantine.
Right.
And it's honestly it has probably the most terrifying hell, in my opinion. And there's a half-breed named Balthazar in there, who's like the main bad guy who's trying to get Satan's son to Earth, something like that. And he's like the guy kind of like pulling the strings and all that, but he ends up getting killed by Satan's son at the end of the movie. It's kind of the same thing with the game a little bit. And that's kind of where the name came from, essentially.
Okay.
And I have another character in some of my maps called Guildenstern. Guildenstern... Oh, what?
I was just making fun of the name. Guildenstern.
I just want to point out that the intro for this boss is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Turn the power back on.
Yeah, you turn the power back on. There's a sound, and he makes the you can see me fucking like he makes the sound of these Spider Mastermind, and I actually put a repeater on to make it sound like he's you know how that sound when the Mastermind walks around, it's like dun 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 like that. I put a repeater to repeat that noise to make it sound like it's the Spider Mastermind walking around, essentially.
Oh, neat.
Yep.
So, sorry, I cut Jooztin off.
You're good.
I'll let him continue speaking because we'll have plenty of time to talk for this fight.
Yes. Now, one character that's like Remivorous, all the bosses kind of went through a different name changes. Like in the original version of Teragrithious, Argosax and Remivorous had different names. And they were really generic. They were very just meh. What was it? Argosax's first name was Skullcrusher, and then Remivorous's first name was Deathbringer. But I really just didn't like those names when I made the sequel, or this version, so I gave them brand new names. But originally, Remivorous's name was going to be Guildenstern. And the reason why is because Guildenstern is actually based... Now, I do believe there is... I think Zilla was talking about... There's like a story or a play called Balthazar and Guildenstern or whatever. I'm not too sure. But the Guildenstern that I was basing him off on was... have any of you heard of a game called Onimusha?
Yeah, wasn't that a PS2 game?
So, yeah, it was a PS2 game.
Yeah.
Made by Capcom.
I never bought it, but I remember seeing it on the shelves quite a lot.
It's on PlayStation 4, like the first game. It's also on Switch and Xbox, I do believe. Fucking awesome game. It's a fucking awesome series, actually. 1, 2, 3, and 4. If any of you get a PS2 and you want like a really consistent good series, and this goes for anyone who's watching, you really should play Onimusha. And one of my favorite characters in that series is Guildenstern. And the reason why is because he's this mastermind demon who he's really funny, and he's the whole reason why you're fighting all the demons you're fighting in that game. Like, he's creating all these crazy fucking demons, and he's always like laughing at you. He's bantering with you, kind of being all cool and all that kind of stuff. And I love him. He is like he's like the mastermind of like the demon invasions, and he's the mastermind of some of the demons that you do find in the game and whatnot. And the way he like introduces them is so cool. So I was like, I love that character. And since the Revenant is a skeleton, and Guildenstern, he's not a skeleton, but he kind of looks like one, and he kind of sounds like one, but he's not. I was like, that's perfect. But unfortunately, the name didn't really get the cut. I was attempting to do it in a different map, but that didn't really go anywhere. But yeah. Also, I gotta say, I love the smoke.
Yeah, specters and smoke.
Actually,
a real a-hole move, man.
Yeah.
Bring this up, actually. So, I'm gonna start with my thumbs down and then my thumbs up. So
okay, here we go.
So my thumbs down is that, like, I know the idea is to have these bosses with as much health as possible, but this one here it just has too much.
He has too much. Yeah, he has a lot.
There's too much running around the pillars with a shotgun.
Yes.
Now the good is that this this boss fight has more personality than any of the other high ones, and that is partially due to the fact that you have this dark, kind of creepy environment with its own spinky minions. Instead of having the common hordes. And I really like the fact that you didn't put some waves before the fight, because that was actually one of my issues of this map, was, you know, you're not playing this map for the minions, you're playing it for the boss fights.
The boss fights, yes.
So this one gets straight to it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad he breaks up the boss fights with lesser demon battles. Makes it less of a grind when you're actually able to kill some. At least some demons have a normal amount of health, and I appreciate that.
I just think it should be during the fight instead of before it.
Oh well, we got we got specters in the smoke right here, you know.
Yeah, and see, that's what I love about this. I think when I first, because I did the same thing with the original version, I was like, oh my god, the specters and the smoke blend together. Oh my god. And I put that to use here because this is actually the same arena from the, so like out of all the bosses, this is probably the boss that has not changed at all in the original. Except I did a couple things different. Like you'll notice that the map actually has a little bit more detail to it.
Glad you have the revive enabled here.
Oh yeah. Someone's
Beautifully
snoring.
set dressed.
Wait, hold on. Is someone snoring?
Shades?
Hold on a second.
Are you awake, Shades?
Is that my chair? It's like,
Shades boy.
He fell asleep again.
Shades.
I was gonna ask him.
No.
That was my second question. I was gonna ask. Is this Shades still awake?
Well, because when I was talking about bosses earlier, it's like I heard.
I'm sorry, Jooztin. The boss is just too long.
It's so boring.
Yeah. So
Oh god.
it's a real
Just
snooze
shooting
fest.
this third guy for 20 minutes.
I noticed earlier, and I thought someone was like having a runny nose chip, but no, like he actually felt that was hilarious.
I had a feeling.
buddy.
I was gonna ask earlier.
Shades.
If it gets too obnoxious, I'll just turn his volume off. But that's pretty funny.
Yeah,
Hey, leave,
it might have been best.
leave an F in the chat for Shades. F in the chat for Shades.
Well, hey, he works hard, man.
shit,
Guy
guys.
cut him some slack.
Yeah, sure, but it doesn't mean we can't make fun of him.
I know.
So-
Well, we're definitely doing
What do I
that.
think it is?
There's no doubt about
What I
that.
think it is, I think he wears shades so nobody can tell when he's taking a nap.
Well, I think
Oh
you're
Oh
right,
my
man.
god, you are so smart.
That's what it
That's what I think it
is.
is. Oh well, I knew I was smart, but you know that's just my thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
He's probably got the ones with the little eyes drawn on him to make it look like he's still awake.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Where he's got like the glowing red Terminator eyes behind the glasses.
Oh, jeez.
Dude, he even sleeps with shades on. That's the legends. You know?
He's gonna become the next Wesker. Dear God.
Oh, yeah,
I
where
wear
he never
my
takes off the shades.
He never
sunglasses
takes
at
them off.
night, so
He's gonna have like a movie called Dude Where's My Shades or
Dude,
don't switch the
shades.
blade on the guy in shades. Oh no.
Let's see. Oh man. Anyway.
the Teragrithious Chamber. Is
Yeah,
dedicated
this
to
map, anyway.
Shadesmaster.
How about this map?
Teragrithious Chamber is brought to you in part by.
By a new pair of shades.
Brought to you by snoring.
No, that's not snoring.
He's gonna watch this later. He's gonna watch this later and like be mad at us.
No, that's not snoring. I think
running
that-
around him like crazy.
I'm pretty sure
just,
that's
like,
a.
walking right up to him.
I'm pretty sure that's a
Dude,
demon
Jooztin
growling.
could play like Sonic in the new movie.
I'm sorry, I'm still not used to that. I'm sorry, Shades, buddy. It's too funny.
No, that's not snoring. That's a demon snarling. That's a growling demon.
Those are the infernal fiends deep within the chamber.
It's a new demon
yes.
for what? The new Doom. New demon type.
Yeah.
Jooztin, I have a question for you.
Yeah, shoot, my guy.
Alright, so when Teragrithious Chamber gets turned into a movie,
I'm sorry, dude.
when Teragrithious gets...
You know what's better is every time he snores, I see the green around his
Before you say
picture
your
light up.
question, I hate to say this, but we probably should turn him.
All right,
turn
you
him
want me to
off.
turn him off? Okay.
Yeah, turn him off.
Sorry, Shade.
I hate to say that because it's funny as fuck.
Sorry, Shades. I'll turn you just really far down. So if you do wake up, you just let us know.
Anyway,
guys,
as
we
I was
really are
saying,
going to hell.
Oh yes,
If-
straight to hell.
I'll see you all there.
All right. So what was your question, Pat?
But if you were to somehow turn Teragrithious into a movie, who would you have play as the main character?
I would have Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. All right.
Good choice.
Cocaine
Final
Adventure.
boss.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the big man himself,
All right.
Christmas color.
I do like
By
that
the way,
little
I just wanna
teleporter
say-
you got though. That was pretty cool.
Yes.
I just want to say this, Jooztin.
Mm-hmm.
This particular room here, super cool. Having to replicate it was very complicated.
Oh, and
Uh-huh.
yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna spill too many beans because that's still a thing.
Well, because you know what's
Spill
funny is
all
that
the bean.
I actually did this in the original version as well, but there's just a fucking bunch of doorways that you just walk into. I don't know why I did it. I just thought it was the coolest thing, but
By
it's
the way-
such a waste of like space.
By the way, guys, if you go into the editing mode for Teragrithious Chamber, that one hallway nearly takes up the entire row of module spaces.
Wow.
Yes. Also, I hate. I was telling Crash, like, yeah, look at it. I hate that I put that there. I really do.
Only
I
player
don't-
one can become a demon.
I think that looks so ugly. Oh my god.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. There's definitely a way they can make that immersive, but I just don't understand why it's only player one.
I can't. All right.
Didn't want to make it too easy.
Can't. It probably turn him down just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Was that him again? Oh my god.
Oh, Shades.
I already turned it so far down. Okay, I'm gonna turn it maybe off
It's
then.
okay, Shay.
Okay.
Oh wait.
You're-
You must have had a lot.
I might have to.
Okay.
Those ice sculptures really get to you, don't they?
Oh, God,
give me
yeah.
1 second. I don't know how to.
Don't worry, I already got him. I got him turned down.
Okay, cool.
Don't worry, everybody. If this video gets to 10K likes, they will release pictures of Morpheus, whatever you want to call it.
Morpheus.
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 Hey!
You're the one, Neo.
The demon that will give you the pill.
Will you take the blue pill or the red pill?
Or the red pill.
Let's see
Okay,
this
there we go.
10K likes, and I'm
So
sure you will.
here it is. This is Teragrithious, the big boy himself.
The big man.
The big man.
Even
Oh,
Doom
man.
Guy shivers in his boots.
This boss is so poorly designed.
I do have to say this though. When you shoot that heart, it is beautiful.
Yes.
It looks like the super gore nest for Eternal.
Yes. But because I look at this boss fight and like I think the thing that comes out of this boss fight more than anything is how epic it is. Because
Oh god, yeah, it's totally.
I was telling Crash about this how there's this post. If you look up the Teragrithious Chamber on like Google, you can find this post that someone made. And you know what I'll do is I'll look it up as I talk about it. There was this post that someone made about this map, just kind of like how he ran into it, how his experiences. Let me just find it. Teragrithious Chamber, because this post really makes me laugh. It is so funny.
Is
to
it
me.
a hate mail?
No, it's a post, like someone made it and it was like a recommendation thing, but it was like his experience with it. And it's in here somewhere, and I love it because it perfectly encapsulates it perfectly encapsulates like how crazy this map really is, and just how awesome it is. I can't find it for some reason.
Well, just we'll link it in the description later.
Yeah, I'll find it. I'll find it somewhere. But no, so it's like I remember the last thing he said about it was like he was like running around, hundreds of demons on my ass, big bear boss fight shooting big old balls at me, BFG division blaring in my ears, fighting hell itself, and it was just like that's hilarious. And that's what I was trying to do, and I was trying to make it to like you're literally fighting the armies of hell right now because they are trying to stop you like immensely right now. That's why like so many enemies fucking spawn.
I mean, Teragrithious, it makes you feel badass, but it's also like, ooh, this is the challenge. You know, it's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I just realized that you guys haven't died once yet.
No, we didn't die this whole playthrough, actually. Surprisingly. Yeah. Because usually this fight is the cause of many deaths.
Yeah. There's a lot of close calls, though.
Actually, now that we're here, I gotta tell my story again about me playing this. So, I want to do something special for the second year anniversary of Doom 2016.
Mm-hmm. And the third, actually?
Oh, it was the second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, because it was 2018.
Oh, okay, my bad.
So, I decided that I was going to live stream me running through the whole Teragrithious chamber. And I'll admit that I wasn't entirely sober at the time. But I had fun. So I was playing well, you know, I was going through it. And I got to the final boss, and I was in the section where he's summoning all the demons to come after you.
Yeah.
So near the end, and I get to the third, you know those gore nests you have around?
Yeah, the ones on the sides that you have to, yep.
So I get to the third one, and there's one more enemy that I gotta kill, and he won't spawn.
He gets, you know what? You know what's funny? You see where he's looking at right now? Like that middle like platform section.
Yeah.
He gets stuck in there. That's where he gets stuck in. And it's funny because I'm very happy we didn't run into that. There is a glitch that does happen in this. It doesn't happen all the time, but I don't know exactly how it happens, but I believe it's because of the module itself. One of the demons will get stuck under the map. And I know where at, and it's funny because I actually have a volume that when a demon enters it, it spawns him outwards. But for some reason, it doesn't work all the time. It only works sometimes for some reason. And I don't know why. That's one of the things about Snapmap that's so weird, is that, like, most of the time when you run into a bug in a map, it's usually, like, it's because the creator kind of, like, you know, forgot something or he didn't program it correctly, right? But then there's some times where it's like, you know you got it down right. It's just for some reason Snapmap just does not want it to work the way you want it to work for some reason. And that's kind of what happened with that blocking volume where the demons are supposed to spawn back into the map if they spawn in that area, because it is specifically coded to only work on demons in that area. But for some reason it just does not work all the time. And that was an unfortunate thing with some of these modules. Some of the hell modules are a little funky, honestly. And to this day, they're still kind of funky, and that's kind of what hurts, because I have seen some playthroughs, unfortunately, having to end at the end because of situations like that. Also, we had a lot of Hell Knights coming after us.
Yeah, this is like a Hell Knight jamboree.
I see.
A regular barnyard.
So I had that one stream. Now the night after that, I actually went back and streamed it again, and I did finish it. So when I get my YouTube now.
So notice how long we've been in this module? Teragrithious is still at 81%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not gonna hurt his feelings. He's got some fucking skin.
We were getting attacked by so many enemies. I couldn't focus up that much as well. I was just like, fuck, I have to take out all the ads and whatnot. There's actually a flaw in the design as well. the demons that we're fighting right now actually have increased health. And I don't remember exactly how they do, but like, so for instance, the first Argent Heart at the very beginning when you have to shoot at it, right? A fun little fact about that heart, and this is a really, really crazy. This is what makes the Teragrithious Chamber last boss fight so much more harder, is that if you don't take out that heart quickly, you are actually going to be in a lot of trouble. And it's because it's based off of a survive event, where the longer you're surviving, the more harder demons it spawns.
Oh,
and
fuck.
the reason why we ended up getting so many Hell Knights is because we didn't kill it so quickly. So we ended up getting Hell Knights, and I believe certain things happened, and it made it to where those Hell Knights have a little bit more increased health than normal. I believe that's what happened. But if you don't kill that thing at the very beginning, it does spawn Barons, and it will spawn Mancubuses.
Oh god.
Yeah.
So when you were making this, you were just like, survival event. Damn, well, we'll see what this does. Why not?
Also,
By the way, I love this here. I love the cage that you kind of made.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a
I
nice
also
little
love
perch for me.
The Icon of Sin sound effects, so I was really happy with that.
Oh yeah.
You know what's funny too, Crash? You're not actually supposed to be up there.
Oh, really? I did a little mountain goating,
Yeah,
huh?
that's actually the first time I've seen someone actually go up there, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
What's funny is
you know
I've
me.
seen people do that kind of thing in my own maps where they
Oh, yeah?
end up on a platform they shouldn't be in.
Mhm.
And I guess, as the maker of the map, I should be able to fix it, but then I decide, you know what? No, let them have their fun.
That's kind of what I did now. Because there's actually a lot, like, Remivorous, oh my god, you can actually get on top of, like, pipes and just snipe them from downwards. And he can't hurt you whatsoever.
I mean, sooner or later, they will have to jump down for ammo, so...
Yeah, but in Argosax, there's that one pillar that's, like, on the side. If you just walk up there, he just stands there and looks at you and doesn't do anything. It's so weird. It's really bizarre.
Oh, the Argosax?
Yep, Argosax.
So I think, you know what? As I was making one of my own maps and trying to test out, like, demons and platforming, I'm pretty sure the reason for that is because they're not connected to the grid ground.
Oh, okay.
They don't actually have, like, a programmable way for them to get to you, so they're just stationary.
Okay.
Now, if it was a projectile enemy, they would stay still shooting at you, but because it's it's a Hell Knight, it can't get you. It's
Can't
just
do
standing
anything.
there. Yeah, not until you get up close, then it hits you.
Then I've even tried that with like the new Devil May Doom map that I was working on. Unfortunately, there's a lot of custom platforms, and I was like, well, Baron shoots plasma balls, but even having the Baron stand on like custom geo platform, he literally just stands there and looks at you. Even if you get up close to him, he will not shoot at you whatsoever. So it's like, fuck, shit. Yeah, it's really bizarre.
Yeah, and sometimes that doesn't even happen. It just shows you how buggy it can be when things don't go the way they should.
I
think
this isn't your fault,
What thing?
JMX, but I've just noticed that in some of these snap maps, like a demon will get fixated on one player and just totally ignore the other player, even if they're standing like right next to him.
I can't believe I didn't talk about that. Yeah, so you'll note if you go back again, you'll notice that Argosax at the beginning, he only focuses on Crash. He does not attack me whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's because he always gets focused on player one.
It's because
why
I'm so
that
damn
happens,
handsome. That's what it is.
I don't know. They just do. They just do that. Some demons don't do it, but others are just all right.
the high ones know to strike those with the greatest light.
But yeah, no, it's so weird. Because, like, I remember when that happened, I tried so hard to find out and that's you actually got up there legitimately. That's funny.
I have to say, in terms of preset modules, this one is one of the most...
You cut out there, what'd you say?
Oh, sorry. In terms of preset modules, this is one of the most beautiful ones that's in the arsenal.
It is. It is a really, really, really
Yeah,
nice.
it is.
Really happy I used it.
It even has like a little icon of sin there on the wall there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hello, I am back. My internet crashed, so I was gone for a little bit.
Oh, snap. Well, if you need to, we're
Yeah,
at 1 hour exactly.
Yeah, we were almost finished with this.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you'll
Well, I
notice.
missed a lot.
But no, like you'll notice this boss fight is very, 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 very repetitive. It's very,
Yeah, look at
just, like,
Teragrithious.
all
He's
the
back at
enemies.
100%.
Yes, he's back at
What the shit?
100%, yeah. If I could go back and redo this boss fight, you bet your ass I would. And I actually, when I made one of my most recent maps, which is Devil May Doom UAC 2, I actually...
That was bullshit right there.
Oh my god, he actually hit you. Oh, wow.
You all saw that. That was some bullshit.
But no, when I made my recent series, I made like a super hard mode version of the series of Devil May Doom, and I actually kind of remade the Balthazar fight, but instead of like making it, I mean he was still kind of tanky and whatnot, I mean he had to be a boss and whatnot, but what I did was what I'm doing with bosses now is I'm trying to create them in the vision of a campaign because I love this game's campaign so goddamn much, and I love the boss fights in this campaign so much. So when I made the boss in Devil May Doom UAC 2, I really tried to kind of like, like you get a BFG and you can kind of like wipe him out and whatnot kind of stuff. And he's like really simplistic, but he has a lot of mechanics to him. And if I could go back and do Teragrithious again, I would do it in the new vision I make bosses now. Like he would not have regenerating health. He would not have a fuck ton of enemies spawn and whatnot. And if enemies did spawn, it would only be like it would teleport the boss away, which is what I did with UAC 2, and just have a wave of those enemies, and then the boss comes back. I would not do a boss that just spawns enemies on you anymore like that. Only if it was like a part of the mechanic. But like if I could go back and redo Teragrithious, you bet your ass I would, because
Sorry,
Oh,
continue.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Not to toot your own horn even more than we already have, but your newer bosses in like your Devil May Doom series, at least the first one so far, that feels like a campaign boss. That was one of the coolest fights I've had in Snapmap, and it's awesome. I actually felt like I was fighting a campaign boss.
That's awesome.
So that would be awesome. That would be awesome. If you went back and made another map like this, except like make it like Devil May Doom boss style. Make it awesome like that.
Yeah, and cool. And like for the 6th map of Devil May Doom, which I don't know when I'll be able to finish. But like
coming 2020.
maybe. This is it. But no, like I have the next boss that's going to come out. He's going to be really mechanically different, but he's going to be essentially the same idea. Is that like he's not going to be super tanky. He's not going to take too long and whatnot. And I'm really trying to, because that's what I did. The goal to make a boss that felt like a campaign boss, and I'm really happy I did that.
This is it, folks.
This is it. Yep. This is how you
the
finish
grand
off a
finale.
boss.
I get to do the honors, I guess.
Yep, I let you do the honors. And then, yeah.
So satisfying. It's not
Yes,
possible.
it is possible.
Oh no.
It is that.
You
it is
destroyed
really
me.
satisfying when you pull that off, though, at the end.
All my plans
Best part
are
of that,
ruined.
Yes. Yes. Oh man. But yeah. No, like, there you go.
That's
That's
it,
the
man.
only
That's the
way-
Teragrithious
that's-
chamber. You've conquered the
That's
chamber.
all, folks.
And look at that score. That is the distance between stars measured in millimeters. That's what that is.
I mean, he's not wrong.
Well, I am, but
Somebody Google this right now.
All right, let me turn
Pat,
Shades back
look-
on. I want to see if he's awake. I don't think he is, but
Yeah.
let's see.
And Pat, just to blow your mind, look up the star Ooey Scooty real quick.
Ooey Scooty.
Ooey Scooty.
Ooey Scooty.
Ooey Scooty. And guess what? It makes our
Ooey
sun.
Scooty.
It makes our sun look like a crumb on a plate, and the plate is Ooey Scooty.
Yeah, no thank you. That type of stuff terrifies me.
And to make it even more worse, Pat, you want to know how long it would take to, if you were just in a plane jet, you want to know how long it would take just to go around that star once? It would take you
years.
It would take you 9,000 years.
In other words, it would take you half the time it takes to beat Teragrithious Chamber on single player.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Single player Teragrithious takes about an hour and 40 minutes.
About 1,000 years.
Listen, guys, I've played this map single player before. I have never cried so hard in my life.
Did you play Mad Mode though? Oh, we didn't talk about Mad Mode.
Oh god, yeah.
We did not talk about Mad Mode. Oh my god. So to kind of like, you guys might have seen it just a little bit there. Mad Mode is a mode for people who feel, and this is going to sound kind of funny, Mad Mode is a mode for people who feel like the main version of the map is too easy.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Now I say that lightly, but
For sick, disturbed people.
I'm not to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty fucking good at this game, and that's
tell.
why I made the Doomslayer Must Die version of Devil May Doom, is because, you know, I want a version of the map that kind of tests a player a lot harder. So that's kind of what Mad Mode was. So Mad Mode, what it does is that it takes away all the power-ups in the map completely. Like the Demon Rune as well, it takes that away as well. Because the Demon Rune gives you invincibility for like 30 seconds, I think. I can't remember how long the Demon Rune lasts. But it takes away all the power-ups. It halves your ammo count. And you only get 50 health and 50 armor. And bosses can one-shot you.
Do you get any kind of a score bonus for playing it that way?
Say what?
Do you get any kind of score bonus for beating it in Mad Mode?
Now, I didn't think about that ahead of time because Tara has bugged me about that so much in the past.
Oh, yeah, of course, right.
So, it's really... I didn't think about, like, if I were to make maps nowadays, you bet your ass I would like actually give a real fuller reason to play it. But I was mostly just making it for people who just like want to kind of experience it harder, and people who love the map a lot. So that way, people who love the map a lot can play a version that they go, this is the version I want to play because it feels like it leads up to my skill level. And that's kind of what I did with difficulty in a lot of my maps, especially for Doomslayer Must Die, because what I'm doing with Doomslayer Must Die, which I would love to do in other maps, and I would have loved to do it in this one as well, is that it changes, not only does it change like how much damage enemies do, but it also changes some of the fundamentals of the mechanics, which I would have loved to do here. Like, for example, when you play a Devil May Doom level, the game is based off of getting certain like ranks and score, and it's all based off getting glory kills. Because if you get a glory kill, your rank like has invulnerability, so if you get hit, your rank doesn't disappear. And if you get 20 kills without actually getting a consecutive normal hit, you get a huge score bonus, and you just feel like a badass. But in Doomslayer Must Die, it gives you a free Berserk power-up to differentiate the mode completely. Because the map is so hard. Because it not only does it increase enemy damage, but it changes enemy placement completely. So areas where pinkies were, barons are now, essentially. Which I wish, and that's kind of, Doomslayer Must Die was inspired by Mad Mode. Because Mad Mode, it doesn't really do that. It just takes out fundamental stuff, and it decreases your health and all that kind of stuff. But like, I am one to play games that have like replay value, Devil May Cry. When you play Devil May Cry, you start out on normal mode, which feels tough. And then when you beat it, it automatically sets you to hard mode, and it changes enemy placements, and it makes it harder. And then when you beat hard mode, you're on to Dante Must Die mode, which one hit could be the end of you. And you have to keep moving. You have to know what your surroundings are, and you have to know what you're doing. And that's kind of what Mad Mode was supposed to be. It was supposed to be a way for players to, when they play the map normally, they go, this feels really mundane. This feels normal. I want to play something even harder, and that's kind of what I try to do with that. And I'm really happy it worked out.
Oh, okay. Well, that's some great background on that one. Yeah. You guys ready to get into some final thoughts?
Yeah.
Was that Shadesmaster?
That was
me.
Oh, okay.
Patty.
Yeah. Okay. I was just wishful thinking that he might have woken up. Shadesmaster, wake up!
Wake up, Shades.
Wake up!
What are your thoughts, Shades?
Wake up, Shades.
Shadies.
What do you think Shades is dreaming of right now?
He's probably
dreaming of the motherfucking Doom Slayer.
Like some kind of Wizard of Oz thing, where he's like in a mysterious land. He can't get home.
He's dreaming about like
he's having a nightmare
ice
and
cream
he's
sundae.
stuck on Remivorous or something.
You know what's funny? Remivorous is actually the easiest boss.
He is. He actually is.
Argo Sax. Nah, Argo Sax easy.
No, Teragrithious because he's invincible for like 90% of the fight.
You're right, though. You're right.
Okay, so Shadesmaster would have been my first person to give an opinion. I think his only opinion right now is that he's very sleepy. So we're gonna move on towards. He's counting sheep. So Count Lazuli. What do you think about this map, the Teragrithious Chamber? What are your thoughts about it?
Well, the fact that it's been a bit of an inspiration to me says a lot. But I will also say that it's not a perfect map. It is, let's be honest, it is a bit antiquated, There's a lot that could be improved with Snapmap standards today. But regardless of what you think of it, it's definitely notorious. And I don't think anyone's going to forget about this map as long as they have an understanding of the Snapmap community. Teragrithious Chamber is a staple.
Okay.
That's all.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. Mr. Patrick, what do you think of this map, the Teragrithious Chamber?
I'm not gonna lie, this isn't my favorite map in the world, but
you did recommend it.
I do have to say, the things that were shown in this map were really cool. There was a lot of interesting backstory on this. It's really fun to play, though my gripe with the bosses does kind of bring it down for me. I suggest everybody who watches this video play it, and if it glitches in the middle of the map, don't worry. All you have to do is uninstall the game. That's all I have to say.
Wow. Okay. I'm gonna.
Good advice.
I'm gonna go next, just because I want to give JMX the final word here. I'm gonna start with some of the things I didn't like about the map. That way, I can end it on a high note with the stuff I did like. Some of the things I didn't like about this map, and why. When everybody started recommending it, I sort of had that Luke Skywalker in Empire Strikes Back reaction. No, people were like Teragrithious Chamber, and I was like, no, that's not true. That's impossible.
To be true.
It's funny because I was looking at that too, and it was like, really? Teragrithious?
Yeah.
It's an ironic thing. I just want to point this out. It was Z-Man Zilla who did this.
Yeah, the guy who's not even here, to explain his case.
That's okay. This is for you, buddy.
Well, Z-Man, I know you're gonna listen to this eventually, and I demand an explanation.
Yes.
Why? Why? I demand to know why. You tell us in the comments below. Okay.
Five paragraph.
That's right.
Yeah. Explain yourself, sir. Okay. So I think I should describe my first experience with this map is. So it took me about 2 hours to get to Teragrithious, just like most people. I was playing in single player, and I got all the way there. Keep in mind, like, my hands started to cramp up like halfway through. I think it was about the time I got to Balthazar. My hands were like, oh my god, they're on fire. So like, I fought my way through the pain, and I got to Teragrithious, and then right before I was about to defeat him, the game froze up and it just ended. Like, the game crashed on me.
Oh, I hate it when that happens.
And I was like, no, no. So this map has damaged me physically. It has damaged me mentally and spiritually. So, like,
I am so with you there, my friend.
So then when everybody started recommending it for the next Snapcast, I was like, no! I'm going to have to get somebody to join me.
Well, the thing, JRcrash, is that none of us actually like the... Well, we don't like you either, so we just decided to fuck...
I know. I think you guys were like, what can we do to make Crash angry? Anyway.
Hey, give me credit. I didn't join in at all. I didn't say there. I just watched it unfold, and I was like, oh no.
Oh no. Oh no.
To be honest, I was like, you guys should pick a different map.
Well, it's too late for that now. So anyway, let me finish up my final thoughts, and then I'll give you the last word. So, the first sort of thing I didn't like about this map was that even though you have 10 lives, which, okay, that's nice that you have that set up, but there's no score penalty for death. And I think that's a good thing to have in any kind of a map where you have a live system, is you want to reward the players for conserving their lives, right? So something like, say in the case of this map, it'd be like a 10,000 point penalty for death, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
That would be more appropriate. Instead, it's like, it doesn't matter how many times you die, so that makes the scoring a little bit less competitive. But that only matters to people who are concerned about scoring. One thing that does matter to everybody is the grindy nature of the bosses. 1,000% health. Now, I think JMX, you designed this for multiplayer when you're originally making it.
I did, actually. Yeah.
So
that explains.
Yeah. So it wasn't necessarily designed for single player, and that becomes a problem when the bosses have 1,000% health, and it's taking quite a long time to take down the bosses. It does really make the map drag on for a long time when you're fighting the same demon in the same module for minutes and minutes on end. It's it gets a little bit draining after a while. Now, if you're playing on multiplayer, that's not an issue, but I'm just talking about single player here. So there is a very grindy nature to all these bosses. Another thing I didn't like is that some of the bosses have infinite health until you complete a certain puzzle or you activate a switch or you do something in order to make that boss vulnerable. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing to do. I know that other mappers have done that in the past in their maps. One example I'm thinking of right now is Eye of Horus, when you're fighting the specters, and you have to take out the gore nests to make the specters vulnerable, because there's some specters that are invulnerable until you take out their gore nests. So that's an example of that same sort of mechanic, but I'm just saying, me personally, I don't like that mechanic even when it's implemented well, because my sort of thing is like, hey, the demons are out there, they're fighting you, they're in the field of battle, they shouldn't be invincible no matter what. And I'm not saying that's wrong for everybody, it's just sort of wrong for me, it's just something I personally don't like. I like having the demons be, you be able to take them out whenever you want. Because another thing is, I found myself, even when I figured out what the rules of the arena were, I very often found myself forgetting halfway through, like, oh shoot, I've been shooting at this boss for the last 5 minutes and I forgot to activate the switch to make him vulnerable. It's just something that slipped my mind because I'm just so like in the moment, you know. So it's just something I didn't really like because the infinite health for the bosses, you know, just wasn't really my style. And lastly, I know this map doesn't do much with custom geo, but there are some props scattered throughout the map that they look fine visually. I'm not criticizing that. Actually, this map hasn't aged half bad considering how old it is. But my issue with some of the geo is that a lot of the geo is solid, and I found myself getting stuck on it quite a bit. And that was an issue during some of those boss fights where, you know, you got their damage cranked up so high, they hit you once or twice and you're going down. Fortunately, I'm glad you had the revive enabled so that when you're playing multiplayer, you know, your buddy can come revive you, which we did a few times during this map. Another thing I enjoyed about this map was the boss names. You know, they have these funny, wacky names from these different games that you enjoyed playing, and that adds a little bit of character to the map, I'd say. Is just a big part of this map, I think, for me, is just some of the goofy boss names you came up with. They're pretty funny, and it definitely kind of makes the map what it is. Gives it a lot of character there. Another thing I enjoyed was all of the weapons and power-ups. You did not hold back on weapons and power-ups. Basically, I wouldn't say every weapon. Like, I don't think you get the lightning gun or like certain weapons, but you get basically...
No, you actually get every gun.
Every gun, okay. Well, so yeah you're very generous with weapons. Yeah, other than that. So you're very generous with the weapons, and that's great. Always appreciated, and you weren't just piling on weapons for no reason, because there was actually quite a bit of action. There were a lot of enemies in the map you could engage with. It wasn't just boss fights. All the boss fights were broken up with lesser demon encounters that were more manageable. You had some waves that you could sort of chew through and beat up on with your badass arsenal of weapons there. That's something I enjoyed. The action was great. And lastly, the thing I enjoyed most about this map, even though I think it's a pain in the ass in single player, I think that this is a badass map if you're in a large group. And I'm saying 3 players, 4 players, this map is ideal, I would say, for that number. 1 player, 2 players, not so much. I mean, 1 player, forget about it. Do not play this map in single player.
Forget about it.
2 players, yeah, it's still maybe not ideal, but it's still playable at least. 3 players, 4 players, that's where I think this map would really shine, and that's where you're actually going to have a really enjoyable time, is when you're talking about those big groups. This is a map where, like, if you end up with say you're just playing online and you just sort of end up with a big group of people, like people just join up with your party and you just got this big group, and it's like, hey, what map do we play now? Hey, let's play Teragrithious Chamber because we got 4 people. So, like, this is like the perfect map for that situation. I think this would be a fantastic map in multiplayer. Sadly, I've only experienced it in single player and now 2-player mode. But so that's just sort of my opinion. This is one of those legacy maps that got really popular in the early days of Snapmap. It still holds up pretty well, in all honesty, but I do get hung up on the grindiness of it, especially in single player mode. That's my biggest issue. So that's what I have to say about the map. A decent map overall, not so decent in single player. Now, JMX 5000, I'm going to hand it over to you. Go ahead and give your final thoughts about this map here you made.
Well, it's funny because I agree with everything that you have to say about it, because I look at this map now and I feel the exact same way. I'm like, God damn it, this map is so tedious. And it is. It's very tedious. It's very repetitive. But I just, it was my young self, and I wanted to make something super, super crazy, because the whole idea of the map was I just wanted it to feel epic. I wanted it to feel broader, bigger, and I just, like, back in the day, honestly, there was no map that felt the way this map feels, honestly. Surely there's a lot more maps that definitely feel a lot better now. But, like, personally, if I were to redo the Teragrithious Chamber,
I would definitely do it very differently, and whatnot. And like, God, you know, it's this map to me. It's very important, and I think it really kind of taught me everything I know now. And to this day, I'm still learning stuff. I'm still doing new stuff. And I think what got me the most was that it got popular. Bethesda played it. It inspired Lazuli, and like, and you know what else I love about it too? I love, and this is gonna sound a little bizarre, but and I'll explain why I love it. I love that everyone hates it. Like everyone, it's hurt everyone in a mental way. And it's not because, oh, I think that's funny, like, oh, it pissed you off, that's funny. I think it's because it gives this map a little bit more character in a way. Because, like, the whole point of the map, essentially back in the day, I don't necessarily believe this now, honestly, but back in the day, the whole point of it was to be very, very crazy. It was supposed to be nuts. And it was supposed to make you feel that way. But the reason why was because it was supposed to be super crazy, super hard, so that way when you beat it, you feel like you literally fought the armies of hell and won. And that was kind of the point. And even to this day, when there have been times where I play this by myself, and I fucking get through it like crazy. And when I beat Teragrithious, I'm done for the day because I'm just like, God, I really felt like I made a huge accomplishment there, doing that, like not dying or anything like that. And I love that about it, like how epic it really gets because it pits you against so much. But unfortunately, as awesome and as it feels, and the greatness it feels when you beat a boss or when you complete the map, it suffers a lot. It's not a great map. It's a great map, but it really fundamentally has so many issues. And I agree with everybody, honestly. I agree with everybody about it because I look at this map now and I go, yeah, it's kind of a mess in a way. But man, it really has a lot of charm and it has a lot of meaning to me. And it just became this phenomenon. And it is the reason why even though I don't make maps as much anymore, but it's the reason why I've learned to do better. And it's why I've kind of learned to branch out into new different types of things, And, to me, this map is very important to me. It's something that I look up to, and I see that it has such a history. Many people played it. I got hate mail for it. I got many people who loved it. It has caused many mental issues with people. And, I feel like that brings a character. But if I were to say, this is definitely not a map, I wouldn't really make a map like this again. Unless it was structured a little bit better and, if I had a lot more freedom, if I was given a lot more memory, there would be a lot more to it. But, it's a map that, I wouldn't really recommend, like these guys say, I really wouldn't recommend playing it single player unless you're crazy and really, 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 really want a challenge. Go nuts because, it's great. But, yeah, it's just, I think this map it's very important to me. And it kind of makes me just so amazed. Not like to toot my own horn, and I never want to do that. But it just amazes me on the creativity that one can bring to such a little platform like this, and it kind of makes me sad that not a lot of people really give this not this map, but the Snapmap a chance that much anymore. Because you can really go nuts with any type of gameplay. You can go nuts with any type of idea, and that's what I did. Like, I took my limitations and I tried to, tap onto that. And there were a lot of decisions that, were poor. There were a lot of decisions that, I'm very happy about. But there's also a lot of sacrifices that I had to make with this map. And back in the day, there was nothing you could do, but nowadays you can make this map a lot longer, a lot better, and polish it up more. And if I ever, did go back to it, I would definitely, polish it up. But, it's definitely an entity, and I think it's an honor to know that with a series like Doom, which is like my second favorite game series of all time, that I put an impact on the game. And to me, that is unbelievable. And I never thought in my whole life I'd be able to put an impact on something like this, ever. But I did. And not a lot of people can really do that. But man, it was worth it. And that's why this map to me is, I don't play it that much, and I really don't look up at it that much anymore, and I agree with many criticisms about it. But it really is a map that kind of cemented like my impact on such a game, and it also taught me fundamentals, ideas of how game design works. And to me, that's just amazing. But yeah, that's probably all I got to say now.
Well, that was well said, man. I'm glad you were able to share that. I'm glad you were able to be here to be a part of this because, I know we've sort of behind the scenes we've talked about how we're going to do these Snapcasts. Should one of our maps become a featured map, should the author be present, or is that in poor taste somehow? I actually really enjoyed having you being here for this Snapcast because it was great getting a lot of the behind the scenes sort of the background, the development, the thought process that went into how you built this map, and then just sort of your experience as this map sort of became popular and well known. And I know it's easy for us now in 2019, post however many updates that the Snapmap has had, to criticize this map and say, oh, this could have been better, that could have been better. But you got to keep in mind that at the time when you made this, in the early days of Snapmap, there weren't a lot of people making decent quality maps. It was mostly just a sea. It was mostly just a sea of garbage, to be honest. And this is one of those early maps that sort of paved the road, where it's like, hey, if you focus just a little bit of time and effort and creativity into this thing called Snapmap, you can actually make something that's playable and decent and interesting. And that's why these sort of early maps became popular in the first place. I have a map that's an old school style map that hasn't aged very well necessarily, called Aliens, which is up there in the horror category. And it's sort of in the same category where it was a novel, interesting idea that got a lot of attention, and I look at it now and it hasn't aged well, and there's definitely things I would do better, but that's only because I've become a better snap mapper since I've made that map. And I know you have the same opinion about when you watch Teragrithious Chamber, but you know what? It's easy to poke holes in it, but it is still a damn fine map, and certainly in multiplayer, I would play this map any day of the week for sure.
That's awesome.
So
well, thank you.
Yeah. So I just want to thank everybody for watching this video. This was the Teragrithious Chamber. I want to thank the Snapcast, Sweet Dreams, Shadesmaster. Thank you very much, Count Lazuli, for being here.
No problem. I also want to thank Taylorhead for watching. I know you're watching, Taylorhead. Don't act like you're not watching. I know you're in the comments right now. All right.
Yeah, and feel free to leave a comment if you want to say something. Also, Mr. Patrick, I'm glad we were able to get you in on one of these Snapcasts. It's been a few episodes now, and you've been busy with school, and that's important. But I'm really glad you were able to make it to this one.
I'm glad I was able to come, man. This was really fun.
Glad you could be here. Lastly, JMX 5000. This is your map, your baby. I'm glad you're able to be here to help us appreciate this piece of Snapmap history. And this, for better or worse, this is part of Snapmap's legacy, and it is definitely a map worth noting. So thanks for being here.
Oh yeah, and thank you, because that's just it's just awesome, and I love talking about it. It's great. Also, I'll add one itty bitty little thing. You actually can play the 1.0 version of this map. It is on my author list, but do be warned, it has not aged. Like, you'll look at this map and you'll go, yeah, this is a heaven send for the old one. But you can actually play the original version. And if you're curious to see what the original version looked like, it is there for you to play and just bask in what SnapMap was back in the day. Because it was all limited, and but yeah, other than that though, thank you. I'm happy to share like all the cool little development processes that happened, all the ideas, and it's awesome to share that with people, because not every day I get to tell people how these things go, how these things get created, and it's honestly a little wholesome to be able to kind of release that and let people know, hey, this is how I did that. But yeah, thank you for having me on here. I really appreciate it.
Oh yeah, anytime. So thanks everybody out there for watching. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, or if you're that one particular downvote bandit that doesn't like these videos but still watches them anyway, well, go ahead and leave your downvote so that I know you've been entertained as well. And and we've believe it or not, we still have one more opening. If somebody out there wants to join the SnapCast, Discord I think can only support 9 people, and we already have 8. So if you're out there, if you're watching these videos and you're thinking like, yeah, maybe I should join the SnapCast, but I don't know, maybe I shouldn't, quit waffling. Quit waffling around, Mr. Waffle Man. Just go ahead and join already. Because this is a lot of fun. And if you like SnapMap as much as we do, and it's just a fun time hanging out, talking, bullshitting about SnapMap. So go ahead and let me know if you're interested in the comments. I'll get you hooked up through the Discord. And everybody have yourselves a great morning, evening, whenever you're listening to it. And if you have a map you'd like to recommend for us to cover on the next Snapcast, also leave that in the comments. Always open to suggestions. Other than that, have a great time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until next time, peace out.